Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you in part by the Lazy Boy Showcase Shop and Rockingham Toyota Dodge Volkswagen.
You're going to hear some noise if this is a strike. Got a shot at it. Oh, he's got it in a row. Oh, wow.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire. And all the excitement is because this is week one of our third annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Welcome again to the program. I'm Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy, and this is what we wait all year for. First of 5 weeks and 6 outstanding bowlers in this field.
Well, not to take anything away from our previous Tournament of Champions, but when the people see the lineup today, strictly thoroughbreds in the game of Candlepin bowling. I'm excited. The crowd is. I'm ready to go.
All right, this is our third annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions, and we'll be giving you a little bit more of the history of the event a little bit later on. Today is also a special day for us because it happens to be just 1 day short of our 7th anniversary here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes, and we certainly want to thank all of you who have helped make the show a success. We really appreciate it and hope you'll continue to be with us every Sunday at 12 noon. These next 5 weeks should be very, very exciting, so let's get right to it. We're going to introduce you first to our two bowlers on today's show, and we'll give you an update on the rest of the ladder after we take our first commercial break. But our number 6 seed, battling it out in this first show for the Tournament of Champions from Kingston, New Hampshire. He won his championship just last week, Peter Flynn.
And he defeated John Maffio, 377, 364. He carries an average of 127. It's a high single of 208 and a high triple of 482.
And after all the left-handers that we had in that last series, Peter is the only left-hander we have here in the Tournament of Champions.
That's right. That's right.
So we've got an opponent for him that bowls from the right side, and I'm sure you're very familiar with him as well. He is our number 5 seed. Comes to us from Londonderry, New Hampshire. That's Tim Lipke.
Okay, and also some impressive statistics. 132 for an average, high single 200, high triple of 515. And his qualifying score, 379, when he defeated Jack Sanick with 372.
All right, now in addition to the prize money on the Tournament of Champions, which of course is increased from our regular prize money structure, the bowlers will also be vying for bonus money, $25 for 3 marks in a row, $25 additional dollars for every additional consecutive mark thereafter. That, of course, from Val's Surplus on Route 111 in East Hampstead, New Hampshire. We got a lot to tell you about and a lot of great bowling coming up, so we'll take a timeout and get this match started between Peter Flynn and Tim Lipke right after these messages. Don't go away.
To make big changes.
I'd like you to meet another team who...
We're about to get things started here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. You see the lineup. Lipke and Flynn today, Pat Pay next week, then Paul Berger. Gary Carrington, our number 2 seed. Joe Ashline, our number 1 seed. But right now we all start with our number 6 seed, Peter Flynn, and he is set to get us started here on lane 32 as we get this first match underway. Peter knew that was going to be a half-twister. He
Had 2 fingers up. Yeah, you're right. Those of you who missed the show, was it last week, the week before? Last week, he made some fantastic shots. Incredible shots.
Peter starts with a 7. Well, this shapes up to be just an outstanding 5-week series here for our third Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Hope you'll get a chance to be with us for the entire event. And Peter Flynn comes back with a strike.
And there you see the 2-pin, the 4-pin, and finally the 2 goes over for the strike. First mark of the match, and that's always the toughest one, I think. The butterflies out. If these guys have butterflies, they've been around these shows so long, so many times.
And now Tim Lipke. And he is right in the pocket for a strike.
Timmy picks on the 1-3 pocket, and then finally the kingpin, the 5-pin goes over. And he has his first mark.
I don't have to tell you that we've got a big crowd on hand here, and many of them you don't see there in the background, but there is a big crowd here already. I can only imagine what it's going to be like when we have our championship show in 4 weeks. Going for the double.
has a double, but not quite the one he was expecting. The 7 and the 10, but lots of lumber down there, lots of wood to play. Right now, it looks like he may go after the 7 pin and try to avoid the front piece, but there are 2 pieces right next to the 7 pin. Just like that.
Two marks to start it off for Tim. Now Peter Flynn working on a strike in the second.
And he kicks out the 5, the 6, and the 10. He leaves himself just the 7 pin.
Well, I think we're going to have a piece of wood removed.
Dottie's not paying attention, and
Peter went ahead and shot it anyway. It was not anywhere near the active field of play. It was completely on the other side of the lane. And a strike on spare.
so
And that's $25 in bonus money for Peter Flynn.
Val, keep the wallet handy today.
Keep it handy for the next month.
That's right. And Tim working on a spare, misses the head pin to the right, leaves himself the 1, 2, 4, and the 9 pin in the back. And just misses the head pin and almost came back and stole it.
Tim won his ladder championship back on February 17th. Came in as the #1 seed and beat Jack Sanic in a terrific match. Threw a 379. Jack Sanic wound up with a 372.
46 and a 1 pin advantage for Peter Flynn now.
Overall, Tim has been here 7 times, and he's won 5 of those matches. And Tim will have something to shoot at here. In fact, it's looking even better.
Looks like the 5 and the 8. Piece of wood up front. Timmy's directing traffic. No problem. Spare in the 5th. 66 plus the ball coming. As Doug mentioned, this is our 3rd Tournament of Champions. Can you name the other 2 winners?
Sure. Got them right here.
I'll give each of you at home a chance to hash that out. Make your little wagers among your friends at home, and we'll come up with the other 2 names.
For another spare.
Oh.
Nope.
Well, hang on. We're still rolling around down there, and what close. Whoa. Actually, I think the second piece of wood in the channel cost him that shot.
Had several tries at it as the ball was flying around, and pins as well. Just 1 pin separating our 2 bowlers. We're 6 boxes into match #1 of our Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. So glad you could be with us, and we also are very glad for the support of our 2 participating sponsors for this series. As Peter Flynn will shoot at a 5 pin. The Lazy Boy Showcase Shops on Daniel Webster Highway in Merrimack, New Hampshire, and Rockingham Toyota Dodge Volkswagen in Salem, New Hampshire. Appreciate their support, and there is another mark for Peter Flynn.
93 through 7. Right through the middle. 3, 6, 10 on the right, 2, 4 on the left. Well, if you figured out the 2 other champions yet, I'll give you a hint on one of them. is one of the bowlers of this ladder, or of this championship, and our only three-time participant.
That's right.
He's been in every one of the ladder championships. Everyone's
And we
screaming.
mentioned his name a couple of weeks ago. I mean, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
That's right. Well, let's see. Similar shot, 3-6-10 on the right, 2-4, piece of wood next to the 2-pin. That close. Ball deflected.
Well, let's see. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh, there it goes.
Tim turned away. Let you see the end of that.
The ball deflected around the 4-pin. But then he had a piece of wood come rolling across and just hit it right square in the red line, just enough to knock it down for the spare.
And a big strike on spare. How about that for taking advantage?
That's taking advantage of a break.
No breaks on that strike. That was a solid one. Peter Flynn leaves the 4. And takes the 4. Five marks each right now. 3 spares, 2 strikes apiece.
And again, having trouble on lane 31. He's gone through the middle each time he's been over there. Trying to split the 3-6. Heavy on the 3-pin.
Peter will be just above his average for game 1. He will finish with a 131. Tim Lipke now working on a strike in the 8th. Oh, and he's got the double, kicking out the 6-pin. Here it is again.
This time on the Brooklyn side, the 1-2, and just tripping, as Doug said, that 6-pin. Big ball coming right here. Could be 3.
Wow. Not an easy shot with no wood.
It's got to be heavy on the 3-pin, drive it straight back into the 5 and then the 8. You missed it entirely to the right. He's going to be off to a fantastic start. Well into the 150s.
6 marks for Tim Lipke, including that double strike near the end, and a 157 opening game. So advantage Lipke after 1. We'll be back with game number 2 and details on our bonus ball contest in a minute. Postcard for our bonus ball contest after the Tournament of Champions is over, or if we get it and you do not have your postcard drawn, that we keep all of the cards that we get during the summer and anything that's left over if we don't have a winner toward the end of the season. So be sure and send in your small regular-sized postcards only, please, with your name, your full address, and the number from 1 to 10 that you think will be dropped on the bonus ball at the end of the show. If it matches, of course, you and the bowler will each receive a set of brand new bowling balls from Paramount Industries in Medway, Mass. And if your card is drawn and you match, you'll also receive whatever's accumulated in the jackpot. So be sure and send those postcards into Park Place Lanes, Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. Here's our leader after game 1.
Difference, of course, the double strike by Tim Lipke. Both bowlers bowled, I thought, extremely well. Peter had trouble on lane 31, going through the middle a couple times on marks. But 36-pin lead, 26-pin lead by virtue of that double strike.
This may not be over yet. Hang on. No, the wooden back is going to block that. Pin started rolling down. Plenty of wood here.
Yeah. I think you and I both have a shot at making this one, Doug. I don't believe it. I don't mean to laugh. It was just, and Timmy too. I just thought it was locked. I probably didn't want to go that far left. I would have taken all 3 pieces if I could. That's
and that wood was far out.
That's right.
Probably a foot or more behind, in front of the 7 pin. So Tim will open with a 9. That ball zipped into the channel before it took out the 7 on the final ball.
So maybe you and I didn't have a chance of making that one, Doug.
Oh, boy, right back. He's really picking on that Brooklyn side, too, that 1-2 pocket. He just seemed to be scrambling, and it's the 9 and the 10 pins that he's tripping out, the last pins that go down. He's just annihilating those first 9 pins.
Peter Flynn. And he comes right back.
We got to slow this one way down.
The 7 and the 8 pins go down simultaneously. Watch.
And again, on lane 31, he's a little bit of trouble. Oh, well, trouble. You're hitting the head pin, but he's, well, let's see. Possibilities here. 2-7, 6-10. Piece of wood behind the 2 in front of the 6-10. On the 2 pin, he's got a shot. Nope, that close. Went right around the 7. Timmy came back shaking his head because he realized that was a swing of about, wasn't about 11-pin swing by missing the 7 pin and then throwing in the channel and getting a 9 box and coming back with the strike. I know all these bowlers, it's like prize fighting. They can't afford to make any kind of a mistake.
Watch out.
And
this may go.
double.
It does. Another double strike.
This time, the 1-3 pocket. Looks like he's going to be left with a 4-7, but Wood comes rolling across and takes those 2 out. So it's 2 strikes in a row again for Tim Lipke.
By the way, I neglected to mention, but the double strike in the first game came on top of a spare, which gave him $25 in bonus money. And he may have 25 more here as he's going to shoot at the 3-6.
And this Wood is out in front. He's got a choice. He can shoot the 2 pins or the Wood. Now, the Wood just turned on him. And he's going right at the pins, and he couldn't wait. So he's got a lot of confidence up there because he couldn't wait to throw at those 2 pins. He had no doubt in his mind he was going right at the 2 pins.
$25 more in bonus money for Tim Lipke. Peter Flynn now. Again, a pretty pocket hit. Actually looked a little light over on lane 32, but he gets the strike to carry.
Well, if he can nail down lane 31, we'd have some monster scores. He just has trouble on lane 31 going through the middle.
Actually, that ball looked a little more solid in the pocket than I thought on the replay.
And again, he knew as soon as he threw the ball, right through the middle. He's got to make some kind of an adjustment on lane 31.
Well, the odd thing is, Dan, the first 2 balls he threw on lane 31 were strikes. But since then, he has not been able to mark.
You're right. You're right.
We will pause right here. But when we come back, Tim Lipke will be working on 3 marks in a row. He has the lead in match 1 of the 1991 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions.
Destroy.
Tim Lipke back, working on a strike, or rather a spare in the 4th. Assumed he was working on a strike. He usually is.
Lately. Ooh, whoa. Well, he goes through the middle and gets just the 1 and the 5. Pretty tough in a 3-string match to survive 2 double strikes. I mean, if anyone can do it, it's Peter Flynn because he can throw strikes himself. But I don't remember too many matches where your opponent throws 2 double strikes against you and you don't throw any, that you're the winner. So we'll see how this shapes up as the match goes on.
Well, Tim Lipke is halfway through this match right now, and His score is 234. That front wood rolls off, which it will. Tim's helping. Shouldn't have a problem, but the other wood in the back is still rolling.
He's going to shoot directly at the 7-pin. Wood's far enough away now that it's just him and the 7-pin. And again, another mark.
That's 10.
10 and 16 boxes. Pretty tough to try to cut into the lead when you're only leaving you 6 open frames to work on.
Peter Flynn shoots at the 1, 2, 4, and 8.
Ooh, that close. A little heavy on the head pin. He didn't get to carry off the sidewall for the 4-pin. 2-pin went right to the sidewall and came back in front of the 4. Never touched it. So the lead is now 41. And threatening to go higher. Four and 8 left, trying to match the spare already put up on the board by Tim Lipke.
Yes, and that is the first mark for Peter on lane 31 since the 4th box of the first game. So he had come up empty in the 5 previous trips on lane 31. This is on a spare for Tim, and it will be 6.
And not an easy spare. 3-6, 2-7. He's got to play the 2 pins on the right, 3 and 6, and hopefully get some sidewall action. All that Peter's looking for is open frames. Give him something to work on and get some of this lead back. Can't go in the 3rd game 40 pins behind.
Fine 10.
Not the way Timmy's throwing the ball anyways. Already at 103. Opening game of 157. I tell you, he's operating on all cylinders right now. As every ball is on the head pin, and with the exception of the 2 on the spare, most have been in the pocket, either the 1-2 or the 1-3. Well,
missing.
He almost faded with his last step to the left. That'll cause you to throw the ball out to the right. He does that normally anyways. 113. Yeah. Peter's got 2 open frames to work on.
This is only the 2nd time in the match that Tim has been open 2 frames in a row. And there's a big strike on spare. Now here's the importance of that mark on lane 31, because he just filled it with a strike. Now if he can somehow solve this left-hand lane again.
And there quickly goes 10 pins of that lead. So he can turn around in a hurry. Now if he's to throw another strike here. Well, he did get a break. Kicked it out. Was still a little full, but not bad, and it's looking better by the minute. Gives himself the 2 and the 4. Chance to gain another 10 pins. So quickly, 20 pins will be taken off that lead if he can convert this in a matter of 2 frames.
Got it. 3 in a row, $25 in bonus money from Val's surplus.
And the lead goes from 47 to 27 in 2 quick frames. Plus, he still has a mark working.
Each bowler now has $50 in bonus money. And Tim goes through the middle a little bit.
Well, got a break when that 10 pin went down. The 4, 7, and 8 by themselves would be difficult. He has a piece of wood in front of the 7th, which should help. Problem probably will be the 8 pin in the back.
That's it.
Exactly what happened.
If you've ever been bowling at the Londonderry Bowling Center, you've probably seen Tim Lipke there. He's the assistant manager at Londonderry. Also does some of his bowling right here at Park Place Lanes. lives in Londonderry with...
Watch out. Up, coming forward.
Tim lives in Londonderry with his wife Wendy and 15-and-a-half-year-old Shauna and 8-year-old Shane, their 2 children. Tim looking to break this drought, and he does. With a spare in the 10th. Actually, that gives him 300 total for 2, plus whatever he throws on this ball. 6, 139, and a 306 two-string total for Tim Lipke. But there is room here for Peter Flynn to pick up some ground. I beg your pardon, 296 is the total. Tim bowling well, but not quite that well.
You've taken it, though.
296 is the total.
Well, it's a gain of 5, but obviously Peter wanted a bigger fill, and he wanted to continue that streak of marks.
Well, this 10th box now becomes very important, because if Peter can mark here, he can cut into that original lead.
And with a big fill, he could cut it down to probably a 2-mark lead.
Oh, how about that?
Throws another one, and he can cut it down to a 1-mark lead. Trips that 4-pin. Dangerous guys. These 2 bowlers can not only have the accuracy, but they've got some speed that helps them with the pin action. They can throw hard, and they're still accurate. Scary. Trip that one out. So he's going to gain in this box anyways, because he's offered a spare 6. He already has a strike 7.
Takes it out for another mark and a 147. Hey, don't go anywhere. This could be a heck of a finish. Tim Lipke, 296, and Peter Flynn, 278 after 2. We'll be back. Peter Flynn trailing by 18 and starting with a strike.
Say, have you seen any quicker strikes than this? Wow.
That was the 12th strike of this match already. Peter Flynn has 7 of them.
And there's a double.
He has a double. 8 strikes. That's his first double strike. Tim Lipke has 2 of them.
I'd say it's pretty tough to survive 2 double strikes unless you get some of your own. And there's 1 for Peter. So all of a sudden, this match take on new meaning for Tim Lipke. Still lead by 18 because he hasn't bowled yet. He's right in the pocket and almost a strike of his own. 4-pin.
If you're wondering, the record for most strikes in a match is 9. Paul Berger.
I was going to say by Doug Brown.
Hardly.
You people at home are probably screaming at me. Still haven't told you who the 2 other tournament champions. Oh! Strike on spare. What a match.
Wow. That's the 6th strike for Tim Lipke.
Our first Tournament of Champions winner was Bob Moran a couple years ago, and almost a triple.
Wow.
And our most recent winner, and also the one who has appeared in all 3 of the Tournament of Champions, tournaments is Paul Berger. He was last year's winner, and he's back with us again, and he was in the first Tournament of Champions where he lost the first week.
He rolled those 9 strikes in a match back on April the 30th, 1989. The way these guys are throwing now, I would think that record is not safe at all. Peter Flynn has 3 marks in a row, $25 additional from Val's Surplus in East Hampstead, New Hampshire. He now has 75 total. Wow. Chance for 25 more.
Yeah, all he's going to do is convert the 5 and the 9. Ooh, just sliding by, and he thought he had it. He thought he had it covered when he let the ball go. Did a little spin at the line after he went by it. Opening for Tim Lipke.
9. 76 through 4.
Not a bad game. Yeah, Timmy working on a strike. Can regain the lead with this fill. He's right in the pocket, and he hits a double.
Third double strike of the match for Tim Lipke. This is incredible.
And this is a big ball. A big ball, obviously, when you have a double strike. Because if you punch, it's like 2 big spares.
That strike by Tim Lipke a moment ago broke the record for most strikes by 2 bowlers combined in a match, which had been 14. That was the 15th strike.
Very makeable spare here. The wood and the 2 pins at the same time. He's got it.
Yes. $25 more. And we're going to have to cool these guys off a little bit. Hopefully they won't during the timeout. We'll be back to finish this match. It's a dandy here on Stars and Strikes. Don't go away. Games to go in this one. Peter Flynn. Pull that one to the right. That's one of the few times, if maybe not the first time, that he's missed the head pin over there.
4 horsemen, 1, 2, 4, 7, and the 8 pin. Outside. Almost.
Dottie Larrick will have to make a trip down to the pin deck, although I think the pin may beat her. Gonna roll out anyway. This now for the 10, and he's got it.
He needs marks. It's a 20-pin lead for Timmy right now, plus he has a spare working in the 4th, so came in leading by 18. Peter threw the double, and he had them all back, but Timmy came back with another double, his 3rd of the match, and has regained the lead and threatening to run away.
Peter lives in Kingston. He and his wife Deborah have 2 children, 8-year-old Sean and 5-year-old Craig. Peter works at A.W. Chesterton and does most of his bowling at the Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill, Mass. And he'll take a 9, but 2 open frames right there, and the way Tim Lipke is rolling now, that may be costly. Tim has added $50 additional in bonus money on this stretch with 4 marks in a row, and he's on a spare right now.
I dare say if he can drop 7 or 8 and get another mark here, it's going to make it awful tough for Peter.
Well, there's 7. And Tim is a little disgusted. He thought that 2-pin was going to go, and had it gone, it might have taken out the head pin as well. No, that close. Tim would have had 100 half if he had hit that mark, probably.
What a slouch, huh?
But instead, he'll settle for a 95. And he has added 9 pins to his lead, so it's now 27.
I was just going to say, someone said to you, you're going to have an 86 half, but your opponent's going to be ahead of you by 9.
We're certainly headed for double 400s here in this match, and Tim Lipke punches out the 1 and the 9. Well, perhaps it isn't over yet.
No, it's not over until it's over. Until somebody sings, I don't think.
Pretty good effort. Pretty good effort.
Well, it's good effort for missing the object pin. I guess he got a lot of sidewall action. He was really shooting at the 3-pin. He caught the 3-pin, it would have probably jumped over a little better for him. But look at that.
How about that? The 2 and the 3.
Hit the 2-pin. Watch the wood come out of the gutter. Out of the channel, I should say. Cross gets the 3. 105 through 6. Peter is going to have to just about mark out.
He trails by 28, and there's a strike, and that's number 9. tying the record. I wouldn't count him out for 10.
No. He has 3 boxes left. He would like one here, though. That looks good.
Wow. Peter trying to make it happen.
Tell me this doesn't look like a pencil standing down there. Oh, and he did pull it bad to the left. Costly miss.
There it is. Peter's already over 400. So is Tim Lipke.
He would just like to match what Peter has up there. That's a Mark 9.
Even one mark in these 2 frames would make it very difficult.
Without a mark, Peter moves back within 2 marks with 2 boxes remaining, but that's clutch mark there. 1, 2, 4, and the 9 pin. Watch the head pin come off the right sidewall and into the 9. Very nicely done.
Each bowler with 16 marks in this match. The difference, Tim Lipke has 3 double strikes. Peter Flynn only has 1.
There's a lot of extra pins when you get those double strikes. This should go also 6-10 and the 8 pins going after the 6-10 in the wood.
Yep.
No problem, 2 in a row, and I think that's about all she wrote. One heck of a match as far as the score goes, though. There you see the replay of that last spare. And the lead is 26 plus a ball. And obviously Peter's going to have to throw strikes. Hope Timmy, something disastrous happens to Timmy the last 2.
Remember, Peter Flynn holds the record for the high triple here on Stars and Strikes, 482. Tim will have to hustle to beat that. He'd have to roll a 186 to tie it, right? 187 to beat it.
Now he had to throw another double strike. I mean, he's done that 3 times already. The next time it should be easy. Oh, Peter keeps fighting.
That was almost strike number 10.
What a competitor. Drops 9.
Nope. Peter takes it out for mark number 17. He will, in all likelihood, go over 150 in this game. And he'll have one more chance at that 10th strike. Nope. Nope. That was very much the story. Peter going through the middle on lane 31. The handshake for Tim Lipke, as he has already won it. He will move on to face Pat Pay next week. How about the triple, though, for Peter Flynn? 426. Wow. And Tim Lipke keeps rolling.
Hey, he throws another strike. We get a shot at the high triple.
Actually, he can tie it with just a spare and a strike here in the 10th, because that would give him 182.
No, he needs 186.
Oh, that's right, 186. I'm sorry.
482 is it.
Right.
Triple. No, he's going to go right at the wood, drive it straight back. The 10 pin looks like probably a sure bet. The 7 pin could be a problem.
Nope.
Well, he's already at 170. 466. 467.
Wow. And
Wow,
a big
right.
hand for Tim Lipke, a 477. A 467. The 171 third and final game. And Tim Lipke will move on to week 2 of our Tournament of Champions. We'll talk to both bowlers and have the bonus ball contest in a minute. Match here on Stars and Strikes to begin the third annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. We're going to be talking with Peter and with Tim momentarily, but that was a nice way to start.
Well, for one time, our predictions of a high-scoring match didn't put the kibosh on either bowler. 35 out of 60 boxes were marks. Unbelievable.
A total of 17 strikes between the two bowlers, and of course the final total, 467 for Tim Lipke, 426 for Peter Flynn, and we'll be talking with each of those guys in just a minute. But first of all, I want to introduce Don Savoy, the owner of Lazy Boy Showcase Shops on DW Highway in Merrimack, one of our continued sponsors here on Stars and Strikes, and is with us as one of the presenting sponsors for this Tournament of Champions. Don, good to see you again. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Glad to be back. It's been very beneficial for us to be a sponsor of this event, and we're looking forward to more great times.
Well, I'm sure if it gets anything like we just saw in this first show, we're in for some exciting bowling the next few weeks.
I guess so. We've got some talent lined up here, and the pins are falling.
And I know you're very anxious to come back and help us award that $1,500 first prize check in 4 weeks' time.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. That ought to be a special event.
All right, we'll be looking forward to you then, and in the meantime, continued success to you, and thanks again for your support of Stars and Strikes.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure.
All right, that's Don Savoy from the Lazy Boy Showcase Shops. Thanks very much, Don. We appreciate it. All right, let's have Peter Flynn come on up here now. Congratulations. That applause is for you, and well-deserved. 426. Unfortunately, it's only good enough for second place today, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, it kind of is. I guess we found out who Timmy Who was, huh?
Yeah, that's right. A $100 check for sixth place, and also we have a little extra cash for you, $75 in bonus money. And, of course, the fall comes quickly, and then everybody's eligible again, so we'll be looking forward to seeing you back here real soon, Pete. Thanks.
I'll be trying to come back.
All right, thanks very much. That's Peter Flynn. And now Tim Lipke will roll our bonus ball on lane 31, right. Tim just wants to make sure which lane he has to throw a strike on. And that's probably what this will be.
Probably get a spread eagle after all the good bowling, right? Right through the middle.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. A 4. Okay, here we go. $30 in the jackpot. And it's not a match. Olga Tomasic from Auburn, New Hampshire. Her guess was 7, and she actually, Tim, asked, please knock down 7 pins. But you were unfortunately 3 pins short. But hey, congratulations, terrific match.
Fantastic match. You really have to go nuts against Peter, and all the credit to Peter. He bowled super, and I was fortunate enough to do a little bit better.
Do you ever recall a 3-string stretch where you had 3 double strikes?
Not at all. No. No way. And I kept trying for the triple and came close a couple times, and fantastic match. Good start for the Tournament of Champions.
Absolutely. And we also have some bonus money for you. In fact, $125 to add to your winnings, whatever they may be, during your stay here with the Tournament of Champions. Next week, Pat Pay.
I know Pat very well, and fortunately, I've never beaten Pat, so it's going to be a good match.
Ooh, a little inside tip there. All right, we'll look forward to that next week.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations again, and this applause is for you. Tim Lipke with a 467, and week 1 of the Tournament of Champions is in the books, and we'll take a look at the ladder right now to refresh your memory on what's coming up in the weeks ahead. Next week, as we just mentioned, it will be Tim Lipke going for win number 2, Pat Pay in that number 4 spot, and then more names to follow after that.
Well, it's not going to get any easier for Timmy. There's a fresh bowler coming at him each and every week, and I expect more of the same.
All right, we'll be back next Sunday at 12 noon here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes for week 2 of the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. In the meantime, for Dan Murphy and the whole TV50 Sports crew, Doug Brown saying bye-bye from Park Place Lanes.